Hello learners, Unit 3 Service and Maintenance Procedures 2 presented by myself Professor N. Venkateshwarlu, Mechanical Engineering, School of Engineering and Technology, IGNOU, New Delhi. Introduction. As mentioned earlier, the service and maintenance of motorcycle is a very important aspect for the durability of the vehicle. Needless to mention, if a motorcycle is maintained well, it will give trouble-free service on road. In the last unit, you studied the service and maintenance procedures of motorcycle, particularly for fuel line, throttle operation, fuel feed system, air filter, spark plug, engine oil, electric start operation, starter chain lubrication, drive chain and battery, etc. All these things we have learned in the last video and even in last unit. So why actually learners, you have to understand better what is the importance of service and maintenance, why service and maintenance is required, what are the advantages of service and maintenance if they do regularly, and if they don't do the service regularly, what are the disadvantages also you have to understand. So why the service and maintenance is very much required, because its durability can be increased, its the vehicle performance also to be improved or continued as specified standards, or otherwise what happened if the service is not done in a scheduled time or in a scheduled periods, then the vehicle will damage due to wear and tear. So that is the disadvantage of not doing the services regularly. That's why the learners, you have to understand why the service is very much important for each and every vehicle parts in the vehicle. So that we have to going to learn in this unit. So this unit explains maintenance procedures and job undertaken during the servicing and maintenance for some additional components or parts of a motorcycle. It includes inspection and or replacement of clutch, braking system, brake shoe, brake fluid, head and stop lamp, fasteners, wheel or tire and suspension system, etc. So the learners in this unit or in this video, we are going to learn about the various parts inspection while doing the service, how to do the service for these parts also, like clutch, braking system, brake shoes, braking fluid or lamps, headlamps, wheels and tires and suspension systems we are going to learn in this video. And so what I want to say, the learners, first you read the unit thoroughly, then listen the video so that you can able to understand better, and later you go in the next month. So in this 2 months course, you have to learn at the service center also, that will be started in the next month. So at present in this month you have to learn through the videos and as well as text material. So in this unit, objectives. After studying this unit or listening this video, you should be able to inspect and adjust the headlamp, stop lamp, explain the components enabling quality service during the maintenance of a motorcycle, service steering, head bearing and suspension system, and explain the components enabling quality service during the maintenance of a motorcycle. So these are the various objectives we are going to learn in this video. So service and maintenance is a very important aspect for the motorcycle servicing and maintenance. So braking system inspection, brake cam and pedal. So the you can see here in the figure. So here you can find out that braking system you are seeing here. So the brake lining is a friction material on the surface of the brake shoe and directly contacts the brake drum to produce braking force. The brake lining is the most important part that affects the braking performance. So if the contact between this brake line and brake shoe is good, then the brake's performance will be improved. If it is not there, then the brake performance may not be good. So, for that we need to do the servicing. So, need for maintenance. Why the need? Means the brake lining will tend to wear with the usage because it may damage sometimes. So, the brake lining will tend to wear with the usage. Fine brake dust will accumulate inside the brake drums. Brake dust will further accelerate the wear of the brake drum and lining. Further, the friction inside the drum increases and generates more heat, leading to the breaking of brake drum. So, these are the disadvantages. That is why we have to do the maintenance and service regularly. So, brake shoe wear inspection. How to do that inspection of a brake shoe? Remove the brake dust when brake drum is removed. When brake drum is removed, so then you have to find that some dust. So, it has to be cleaned with the clean the dust using cloth. It is not by the air pressure. So, remember you have to clean the dust in the brake drum with a clean using a cloth only, clean cloth only, not by the pressured air. These precautions one has to take. Then points to remember: do not use compressed air or brush to clean the brake dust. Frequent inhalation of brake shoe dust, regardless of material composition, could be hazardous to your health. So, that is the precautions one has to take. Applying a small amount of grease to the brake cam and brake pedal. On suspension and wheel components, always install the pin with the head facing forward. If installed in the opposite direction, these pins may be bent and eventually broken and knocked out due to the hitting from stationary objects or from thrown stones on off-road bikes. Be sure to bend cotter pins properly aligned with the external thread. Points to remember: always replace the cotter pins with new ones as they get deformed and fatigued. If service is not performed, then there will be sticky brake operation, means the brake will not affect perfectly when you brake the vehicle. So, sometimes it may jerk it, then brake shoe or brake drum wear out. Sometimes if you suddenly if you brake then the brake drum will fail or it will wear out, ineffective braking, etc. These are the impacts of not doing the servicing of braking system. So, brake shoe and pad wear. Need for maintenance of brake shoe. Brake shoe or pads are pushed hard against the drum or disc and they steadily wear out according to the use, because we use the brake several times. So, because of that it gives the pressure on the drum as well as disc, so that the wearing tearing will takes place. So, that is why the maintenance is very much required. For drum brake, free play of brake lever or the pedal will increase due to the wear of braking shoes and the stretching of the brake cable. So, this is a disadvantage. That is why we need to maintain the brake shoe regularly. Maintenance and servicing is very much required for the brake shoe and the pad wear. So, points to remember here: free play is automatically adjusted for the hydraulic disc brake. Brake shoe wear inspection. How to inspect the brake shoe? Is it broken or is it teared? So, that to identify if the wear indicator arrows aligns with the mark on the brake panel when the brake is applied, remove the wheel and brake panel and check for the shoe wear. Is it wear or not? Then if no adjustments remain before the wear indicator limit is reached, this indicates the excessive wear and the brake shoe needs to be replaced. So, points to remember: inspect the brake drum for wear or damage anytime you remove the wheel and the brake panel. If the drum shows any sign of cracking or excessive corrosion that cannot be removed with emery or cloth, be sure to replace it. Brake pad wear inspection. Replace pads as I said if worn to the brake pad wear limit line. A quick visual inspection can be made at the leading edge on the pads. So, next comes to the brake fluid. Brake fluid is used in hydraulic brake system. Use of proper brake fluid is important from a safety standpoint. Brake fluid is non-mineral fluid unlike general lubricating oils and hydraulic oils. Characteristic requirements of a brake fluid. Braking fluid should have some characteristics. What are those characteristics? It should have high boiling point, must have adequate viscosity, work as a lubricant, should not cause the rubber parts to swollen or hard, must not corrode the material. If all the properties, boiling point is regarded as a most important one. There are 3 grades of brake fluid: DOT 3, DOT 4 and DOT 5. This classification of grade is based on the performance requirements which is determined by the boiling point in presence of water contents. DOT 3 and DOT 4 grade brake fluid are commonly used, which are made of complex alcohol contents. These two are very much important. So, boiling point is very much important for the brake fluid character to find out the brake fluid characteristics. So, if the boiling point is good, means depending upon the boiling point you can assess the quality of the brake fluid. So, here you can see DOT 3 brake fluid and DOT 4 brake fluid. Minimal boiling points for these specifications are as follows: wet boiling point defined as 3.7% water by volume. So, here you can see in this table DOT 3 and dry boiling point and wet boiling point. For DOT 3 it is 2.05 degrees centigrade, dry boiling point, and wet boiling point it is 140 degree centigrade. Like that it is DOT 3, DOT 35 and DOT 5.1. So, all boiling points are given here. So, points to remember: replace brake fluid once in every 2 years or 30,000 kilometers, whichever is earlier. If the vehicle runs above the 30,000 kilometers, then you have to replace the brake fluid once or every 2 years, once in a 2 years. So, that is the that points you have to remember, the learners. So, need for maintenance. Why brake fluid maintenance is required? The brake fluid absorbs moisture in the air through the brake hose and its boiling point gradually goes down. It also deteriorates due to the heat generated by the braking. The color of the brake fluid changes over time, but you cannot tell how much it is degraded or how much moisture is absorbed only by looking at the color. You cannot determine whether the fluid is still usable or not just by appearance. Thus, the brake fluid should be replaced periodically. So, to identify the brake fluid, is it damaged completely or it is completely it is not usable, the moisture content is more or not, by seeing, by visually seeing you cannot say that. That is why we have to replace periodically. The fluid oil is to be replaced periodically, either in every 2 years or after every 30,000 kilometers running of that vehicle. So, here you can see the limits of the braking fluid, the upper limit and lower limits are shown in the figures. Then comes to stop lamp. The stop lamp is used to warn the drivers of the rear vehicle. The color of the stop lamp lens are red due to safety regulations. There are 2 separate stop lamp switches, one for the front brake and one for the rear brake. So stop lamp is required because it has to be run properly. Otherwise, what happened when you brake, the other vehicle is coming back to you, they may not understand are you applied brake or not. So if the stop lamp indicator is working perfectly, then the back driver can understand, so he is applied brake, so I have to apply brake. So that's why that is the importance of the stop lamp. So stop lamp has to work properly. Though here you can see the stop lamp at the back, so its color is red, so it indicates like this. So stop lamp inspection, how to inspect the stop lamp? By braking on the pedal, you can find out is it the red light is blinking or not. Check the operation and adjustment by applying the brakes. Visually inspect for any damage or condition of reflector plate. Adjust the rear stop lamp switch so that the lamp turns on just prior to the brake actually being engaged. Adjust if necessary. Then headlamp. It is the most important when you are running the vehicle in the nights. In the headlamp, a filament serves as the light source, and the light produced by the filament is projected onto the road surface, either directly or by passing through a reflecting mirror at the rear which reflects the light onto a lens. In either case, the light is projected at a brightness that meet established standards. The reflecting mirror is an important element in determining the performance of the headlamp and is normally made of metal or resin and is a mirror with a parabolic of curvature. If the parallel light rays reflected by the reflecting mirror are directed at the road surface just as they are, they will shine directly into the eyes of oncoming drivers and are not satisfactory for safe driving at night. To solve the problem, numerous prisms are built into the lens or reflector to change the angle of the parallel rays and brightly illuminates the surface of the road. So this is the headlamp, you can see. So headlamp adjustment. Round head lamp, here you can see the round head lamps are seen in the figures. To make a vertical adjustment, loosen the headlamp mounting bolts matching the punch mark on the case and the bracket by moving the headlamp up or down. So as shown in the figure, you can see that to make the horizontal adjustment, turn the adjusting screw onto side of the headlamp run. Adjust the headlamp as per the requirements. Other headlamps, some are different headlamps here. Some models have the adjusting screw or bolt on the bottom of the headlamp. In this case, turn the screw or bolt to make the vertical adjustments. It is available in the Karizma ZMR vehicle. Then comes to horn. Following steps are to be taken for horn checking or inspection, you can say that. Disconnect the wire connectors from the horn, remove the bolt and horn. For inspection, connect the battery voltage to the horn terminals. The horn is normal if it sounds when the battery voltage is connected across the horn terminals. Then comes to clutch. Clutch transmits the power from the engine to the transmission. The purpose of the clutch is to disengage the engine from transmission while shifting gears or while stopping, and engage the engine to the transmission for driving the vehicle. This reconnection or engagement of the engine and transmission must be done smoothly to ensure smooth starting driving of the vehicle. To achieve these objectives, clutch must satisfy the following requirements. In the engaged state, clutch must transmit the engine power without slipping. At the beginning of the engagement, the clutch must have proper amount of slip so that the vehicle can start off without jerking. The engagement and disengagement must be done quickly. So, that is the function of a clutch. The clutch transmits the power from the engine to the transmission. Then clutch lever free play inspection. So, how to find out the clutch lever free play? Check the free play at the end of the clutch lever. Too much play results in clutch drag and stiffness in operation of the gear shifted pedal. Too little play, however, results in clutch slippage. So, check the clutch cable routing, kinks or signs of damage of that could cause sticking. So, it should be the lever play should be between 10 to 20 mm. Clutch free play adjustment. To adjust the free play, loosen the lock nut, turn the adjusting nut to obtain the specified free play, tighten the lock nut and check the adjustments. Start the engine and check the operation of the clutch lever and shift into gears and make sure that the motorcycle does not creep or stalls. So, main stand and side stand switch. Stands are provided in the motorcycle to park the vehicle on a level surface. Main stand is used when the vehicle has to be parked for a longer time, and side stand is used when the vehicle is required to park for a shorter time. Stands are mounted to the frame and are assisted with springs for returning to the stand to original position after usage. In some models, electrical side stand switch is provided for rider safety. When the side stand is put down, the side stand indicator glows on combination meter console alerting the rider. So, these are the main stand and side stand. You may be knowing about these stands. These are the stands shown here, the main stand and side stand. Then wheels and tires. The wheels together with tires support the entire weight of the vehicle, transmit the driving power from the engine to ground and absorb the impact while driving. Wheels must have the strength to endure shocks and repulsion forces from the road surface as well as braking and driving force. At the same time, they must have the rigidity to maintain stability and maneuverability. Need for maintenance of tires and wheels. Tires are made of rubber. They are subjected to wear and damage due to use and hardening, cracking and deep cuts by aging. The air pressure will decrease with use. The wheels may become deformed and unbalanced due to impacts from the road, and the wheel bearings may become defective. So, that is why the maintenance is required. So, front wheel inspection. How to inspect the front wheel? Making sure that fork is not allowed to move, raise the front wheel and check for play, turn the wheel and check that it rotates smoothly with no unusual noises. If the wheel does not rotate smoothly, inspect the wheel bearings, steering head bearings and suspension systems. A motorcycle suspension system is such a system which absorbs the bumps and suspends for giving comfort of riders by absorbing the vibration. You can see in the figure 3.34. It also provides good handling and contributes for braking. Steering system helps the rider to change the direction of the vehicle while riding. The steering system of the two-wheeler consists of the steering stem, bearings and handlebar. The steering stem is the rotational center of the steering as well as the connecting part of the front wheel and frame. It receives both thrust and radial load from the impact of uneven road surfaces and front force due to front wheel braking. Thus, the bearing that supports both radial and thrust load is used in the steering stem. The outer race is press fitted in the steering head pipe and will not rotate when the steering is moved left and right. Steering head bearing inspection. You can see here that bearing races and steering stem, and in other figure you can see that radial load, thrust load and frame you can see here. So, securely support the motorcycle from beneath the frame with front wheel of the ground and turn the handlebar left to right and check that the movements is smooth. If the operation is not smooth or handlebar snags or heavy feel in certain locations, check for any interference of cables or wire harness. If these are not the cause, check for the steering head bearings. Also check for misalignment of front wheel with respect to the handbar. Pack the bearings with grease and install the bearings and bearing adjuster nut. Tighten the bearing adjuster nut to the specified torque. Rotate the steering stem left or right several times so that the balls are seated properly. Now loosen the adjustment nut and retighten the adjustment nut to 0.3 kg force meters, that is full hand tighten. Again check the steering stem for freedom of movement. Points to remember: the cap is under spring pressure, take care while removing it. Do not distort the fork tube. Loosen the fork cap by gripping the fork tube in the vehicle T-stem before complete removal or by using the dummy T-stem after removal. Remove the fork spring collar from the fork tube. Remove the spring joint plate. Remove the fork spring from the fork tube. Pour out the fork fluid from the fork tube by pumping the fork several times, that is 8 to 10 times. Remove the dust seal. Remove the oil seal stopper ring carefully by spraying it out from the slider using a thin screw or screwdriver as shown in figure. Note: be careful not to scratch the fork tube. Lock the fork piston using special tool as shown in. Remove the socket bolt or washer using the impact drive. Note here: use your foot on front for dismantling tool to lock and to avoid fork piston turning with the socket bolt. Do not damage the bottom tube. Learners, I hope now you have learned about the various maintenance procedures of braking system, braking fluid, headlamp, stopper lamps and as well as suspension systems. So, now in the summary, in this unit you have studied the detailed procedure of checking and adjustment of braking system, headlamp, stop lamp, suspension system, brake shoe and pad wear. Working and maintenance of clutch has also been explained. Maintenance and service, if not performed for brake system, braking operation will not be effective. Brake fluid used in the hydraulic brake system should have certain characteristic requirement like boiling point. The stop lamp in motorcycle is used to warn the drivers of the rear vehicle. The headlamp of motorcycle needs maintenance due to vibration in the vehicle. Steering head bearings inspection procedure has also been explained in this video or unit. Towards end, the detailed coverage on front and rear suspension maintenance have been described in this unit and in this video. With this, I conclude the learners this video. Thank you very much.